Joining me is a familiar face to you all now, Coach Darryl Jacobs. Coach, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Coach, I wanted to look back on the 2013-14 season. It was your first season here. How would you assess the season?
Wow, where do I start? Everything that could happen happened to us as a program, but in the end, it ended pretty well for us, having to make the playoffs and everything. But wow, we got off to a tumultuous start with injuries and trying to bring the chemistry together with the players, and being a new coach, implementing a new style of play, and all that stuff. So and we got off to a tumultuous start by starting 0-12 actually, and then adding a quality player in Jerry Modi at the semester, and we was able to win the next 9 out of 14 ball games.
I was just going to say, you really could break the season down into two halves. And what do you think was the key to that second half success and then that run into the playoffs?
Well, we put much more emphasis on defending. That's one of the things that in the beginning they didn't pick up the defensive concepts as well with my philosophy coming in. But once the second semester got in here and the classes were over, we was able to spend more time in the gym working on our defensive principles and, adding Jerry Modi as well, put another scorer in our midst, and that's something we was lacking as well.
Now let's talk about the last regular season game. You got LIU posting here, you had beaten them once, you needed the game to make the playoffs, and the team went out and won the game. What were your thoughts about that whole game?
Well, Mike, that whole scenario getting into the playoffs was we only had one way to get in.
All right.
At the time, we needed to beat NYT on February 26th. The team we was one game behind. We had to go over there in a tough environment and beat those guys, which we was able to do. And then the only way we could have gotten to the playoffs was the fact that we needed NYT to lose and us to win. All the other tiebreaker scenarios went to them because of the teams above us. We hadn't split with them like they did with the previous teams above us. So going into the post game, NYT had played at 3 o'clock, and our game was a 6 o'clock game. So I wasn't doing any scoreboard watching, so to speak, because I didn't want to do that. The only thing I wanted to do was have us take care of our business. And somebody happened to text me that NYT had lost, and I go down in the locker room doing the pregame and going over the scouting report and everything, and everybody on the team knew. So I said, okay, since you guys know, now we're in control of our own destiny. At that point in time, we had to rely on them losing, somebody else helping us out. But it was pretty good to go into our final game of the year knowing that we were in control of our own destiny finally.
Now, that obviously led to a playoff appearance. You brought a wealth of success with you from Clark, Atlanta. How does the playoff experience at Clark, how was that relevant, if it was, to the ECC playoffs?
Well, being at Clark, Atlanta, being at SIAC, but prior to that, being at Virginia State before coming to Queens College, the CIAA is a totally different animal altogether. It's a great tournament that they put on down there. It's a different atmosphere, different level of play altogether. But my experience being in conference playoffs served me pretty well going in. There wasn't a scenario I hadn't seen as a coach. And I wanted the guys to draw off my experience as a coach being in that situation. And one thing that Patrick Parker said to me going into the game, Coach, you don't look nervous at all. I said, Coach is never nervous when you're prepared. Preparation makes you not nervous or anything like that. So I was very confident going in, hadn't beat Malloy, hadn't split with them. But I knew it would be a tough game at their place with the Player of the Year and John Petrocelli and all those guys. And I thought we performed admirably. Even though we lost the game, we just ran out of bodies, at that particular time. And, and it was a tremendous run for us just to be in that atmosphere. For the returning guys, I told them, don't forget how this feels to lose this game because we'll be back here again next year in the playoffs.
Now, let's talk about specifically players. Were there any players over the course of the year that surprised you with how well they played, or would you say that they met your expectations, fell short? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, not having a point guard, Kevin Nascimento was out for the year, and that left a hole at a very vital position for us, which was the point guard position, and we had to move Patrick Parker over to the point guard position, which was his natural position. He was an all-conference wing player, right. So he pretty much sacrificed a lot of his game to learn a new position. And as the year went on, he kept getting better and better at the position. He made the ultimate sacrifice this year for the team to become a point guard. But ultimately, I told him it's going to only help you become a better professional player if you plan on going into professional ranks, because Patrick was a scoring guard. He wasn't really a dynamic shooter from the outside. He really can score the basketball, good at taking it to the basket. But I told him if you learn the point guard position, that's only going to make you more attractive as a professional. So he was the biggest surprise in terms of his adaptation to the position. DeJohn Gray, down the stretch, he wasn't even starting for us down the stretch. We had some injuries, with the team, guys leaving the team for whatever reasons. And he got into the starter role and started to produce over the last 5 games of the year. So I was very pleased with him. Kaheem Chapman, the freshman, ended up starting for us after the second semester, had some great games for us, tremendous basketball IQ. I was very pleased with his effort. But like most freshmen, towards the last 4 or 5 games of the year, he hit a wall. So I kind of teased him about that a little bit. I said that was kind of expected. I wish he had hit the wall earlier than later. As well. Amir Tariff, a transfer we got from CW Post, who didn't play that much over there. We was in a situation where I needed a big guy because I got the job late and my recruiting time was very minimal. So we gave him the opportunity to come in and play, and he proved to be a pretty good plus for us. Having some great games. Double-doubles, scoring the basketball, scoring down low. I just wish he had another year. As he said, Coach, I wish I had another year to play for you. And he's got better and better as the year went along. So, we weather a lot of storms, Mike, with the team going through some of the personnel changes off the court and on the court. But, anytime a new coach come in, that's transition. That's going to happen with the philosophy and the program mindset that I want to have with the guys. So.
Now, you talked about sort of that transition and guys coming and going. Talk about what it meant to the team when Jerry Morty became eligible and what he brought to the team.
Well, he brought an instant credibility in terms of him being a basketball player. We did a lot of player development and coaching. We watch a lot of film, and half the time is these guys really didn't know the game. They learned the game, where Jerry came in with a basketball mentality already, and he's very skilled. Prior to me coming here, the year before I came here, prior 2 years ago, actually, when he played, he at Queens College, he was one of the leading scorers of the team. With that maturation process, 2 years ago, and him taking a year off allowed him to mature much better as a ball player. So when he came in, he was in great shape, believe it or not. He picked up the plays very quickly, and he became an instant leader. So, and he also gave us another score, because we had problems scoring the basketball a lot of times. Our defense was beginning to come pretty good, but we didn't have a guy that could score the basketball, along with Patrick Park. And if Amir wouldn't score, then some of the other guys were so inconsistent. We needed somebody that could score on a consistent basis, and I think with him being able to come in and average 17 points a game, night in, night out, and around 8-9 rebounds, helped us tremendously.
Sure. Now, the last thing I want to get your thoughts about, knowing who's coming back, what recruits are coming in, your coaching philosophy. What are your expectations for next season? What can our fans expect from the team?
Well, we want to build off how we finished the year. We had some monumental wins, beating CW Post twice. Something that hadn't been done here at the school in a long time. Having a defensive game against Robert Wesleyan College when we held them to a region low 34 points, and it's a school record for them. And we got some things to build on. We got Jeremiah Modi coming back, Kaheem Chapman coming back, and DeJohn Gray. Actually, 3 starters coming back, and we got some holes to fill at some other positions that we're feeling quite handsomely right now. I'm very pleased at some of the new guys that we're going to be bringing in. So, we can expect to be a little bit better, faster next year. I don't like to give any predictions. I don't want to put any bad mouth on my team or program. I'm going to speak like any other coach. I'm optimistic. I like the way we ended, and I like the direction in which the program is going.
Coach, thanks for a few minutes.
Thank you.
That was Coach Darryl Jacobs from the men's basketball team. To follow the basketball team and all the other teams, you can log on to www.queensknights.com.